Hello, it's Doris with Aldi Books. I apologize in advance. There's going to be a lot of bragging in this video, so you've been warned. First up, I have cute cats. We all know this. It's just an obvious, apparent fact. So I have some cute cat videos to attach to the end of this Friday Reads. So, zoom to the end if you want to see those instead of me. I'm going to remember this time. I swear. Number 2 in the bragging category, and this is a big one. This is huge. So, there's a house finch outside my window, and it's really cute. They're nesting. If you didn't see my Friday, my mid-month book bash. Yeah, I get distracted easily. Squirrel. Anyway, back to the bragging. I just have to just spill the beans. I just turned in my BookTube prize ballot. Yes, I did. And I hadn't even read any prior to Robert sending me my list. And I did nonfiction this round. I know, I am shocked. I'm shocked as well as you must be. But yeah, I read those 6 books in 2 weeks. I'm proud. I'm so proud. To be fair, they were all short or medium in length and not the long side of medium, the short side of medium. So the BookTube gods have been just so very kind to me last year. Unlike last year, Red Comet. So yeah, I turned that thing in. I'm very excited to talk to you about these 6 books, but not today. You'll have to wait another month and a half because I got done so early. Okay. So moving on to the Friday reads of this portion of this video. There'll be a little more bragging eventually, but Mid-Month Book Bash was quite successful. I kind of wanted to read or finish 4 books, and I did finish 3 and DNF'd a 4th, so I call that a win. That's sort of a humble brag there. So I already was in progress with Thunderhead by Neil Shusterman prior to Mid-Month Book Bash, which was Friday the 8th, I think. Last Friday Reads check-in, I think I mentioned this. So this is a dystopian or utopian, depending on how you look at it, trilogy, fantasy read. The Scythe trilogy. So the first one is the Scythe, and it is a society where there's no longer natural death. The only death is people are culled from the population via these trained scythes. So yeah, in the first one, there are 2 young people, I think 18-year-olds, who are selected to be apprentice scythes, and it is their journey to become scythes and what that entails and what happens. And it was super interesting. Very interesting premise to think about, a society with no natural death, just you live forever, and then these unnatural, you're murdered via scythes, you're culled from the population. Interesting concept. So this one is the second in the trilogy, Thunderhead. Things have happened. I don't want to spoil it for you. This one also focuses more on the AI aspect. So there's this godlike artificial intelligence, the Thunderhead, that plays a major role in this one and the next. And you continue along the path with Citra and the dude, whatever his name is, I forget. And then there are a lot more side characters in this one play more major roles. So you're flipping around in perspectives quite a bit. And I thought I was interested, and then I found myself putting it aside and not returning to it. And I just kind of wondered, if I was really wanting to finish this series. So I looked on Goodreads at the reviews and ratings and such, and I noticed that Mellie Martin, formerly Mel's Bookland Adventures, had read Scythe and rated it highly, like a 4, I think. And then had rated Thunderhead not so highly, a 2, I believe, and did not have a rating for the third one, The Toll. So I messaged Mel. I was like, what do you think? Do you think this is a series? Blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, she did indeed DNF. So meanwhile, while I was waiting to hear from her, I had read a little further and gotten interested. Like, it just wasn't pulling me through the narrative. But then I started getting interested in a couple of the new characters, Grayson Tolliver and an old character, Scythe Faraday, who had returned. So I did get somewhat interested in them. But the ending of this one was like, I laughed. I thought it was ridiculous. I laughed in the mid-month book bash vlog, and totally agreed with Melanie's thoughts. So I then just read like the first and last chapter of this one and decided I was very satisfied with the idea of DNFing it. So there you go. Finished that series. Then I decided to go with Aussie April for my next pick. The Dry by Jane Harper. I have finally read it. I feel like this is one of those books that I picked up several times in the last year or two for either Aussie April or, Cloak and Dagger Christmas, March Mystery Madness, all of those. So I don't feel like I have much to say about The Dry. This is like quite prevalent on BookTube for quite some time. Everyone knows that it's a mystery set in Australia, and it was indeed a quite the page turner. I was thoroughly enjoyed this read. Yeah, so enjoyable. I'm not a big mystery reader, so when I find one that actually works for me, that's a plus. So enjoyed that. And then for my next read, I was like, I'm just kind of reading in the moment, And I was like, do I want to stick with Aussie April, or do I want to go stick with the March Mystery Madness vibe that I didn't do in March, but now I'm into in April? So I went with the mystery, and I picked up The Tie That Binds by Kent Haruf. And this one, if you read the cover, it kind of leads you to believe that this is a mystery. It is not. This is not a mystery. So what this is historical fiction. More of it, several people have commented already, and he's more of a character study kind of guy. Totally. So this is kind of a quiet character study set in the turn of the century, the one that I turned in, not the one that just recently turned. So 1850s to 1920s and up to 1970, I believe. Centered on these two kids and their crabby old man dad and the bad things that happen to all of them. And I thought I was gonna really like it based on the narrative voice that the story is told from, who is the neighbor that is quite a bit, he's younger, he's significant, he's the son of a man who grew up kind of as children with these two, a little bit older but not much, so they grew up together sort of. So it's told from the voice of that man's son, who also spent a lot of time growing. He himself grew up with this other family. Did that make sense? I hope it did. Like, he was a kid and spent time with this house. You know what I mean? I liked his voice, but, it was interesting historically. It's very interesting historical slice of life and, character development kind of things. But it's one of those books where a lot of bad things happen. And one of the bad things that happened early on was like quite grotesque and extreme. And I was just like, that's really weird. Yeah, kind of weird. And I think that this book really suffered because of expectations. I was expecting a mystery. It's kind of ironic that I don't normally, get on with mysteries that often. Sometimes I do, but like that I was expecting one and didn't get one. So I think this is probably a pretty good book if you like this sort of thing, which sometimes I do, but I don't know. And then I also finished this week 4,000 Weeks, Time Management for Mortals by Oliver Burkeman. This was a reread for me. I read it a month or two months ago-ish. Listened to it via audiobook and really enjoyed it. This is kind of, I guess it's self-help, but it's very concise and research-based, philosophical kind of thing, about how you live your life. And it's actually anti-time management. So it's more about slowing down and realizing that the amount of time that you have on this earth is finite, and this rush to fit it all in might not be your best approach to using your finite amount of time. I really enjoyed both reads of this. I skim read some this second time around because, I just didn't need to absorb it. I could pick and choose because I already listened to it once, and I felt like the first time it was very impactful for me, and my mind would wander and think about my own life as I was listening to it, so I didn't get everything out of it, but I got a lot out of it, if that makes sense. So I wanted to read it again just to see if I missed anything and to kind of connect with it more. And so the second time around, I skimmed a bit. My mind wasn't wandering, but I was just like getting through the parts that were not relevant to me in the moment. But yeah, I highly recommend this if you need to think about your life a little bit, because there's a lot to think about in here. Yeah, it just was one of those books that really hit me where I needed to think at this point in life. So yes, it was good. And then I think I run across these books from the What I Eat health food channels that I watch. I don't remember who clued me into this one. So if that was you, thanks. This was great too. The Power of Moments by Chip Heath and Dan Heath. So this is also kind of a self-help book, but also very concise and, research-based. I really like those, okay? I'm not gonna lie. I like those. And by concise, I mean that they don't waste a lot of time padding it with fluff, like examples and shit. Sorry, that just was the word that fit. Examples and shit. Like, I don't like that, okay? I like research. I like examples that are research-based, that clearly illustrate the point that the author is making. But I don't like anecdotal examples in progress of like the author illustrating the point that he's made by his own little anecdotes. You know what I mean? I don't like that. So both of these are very concise, about 6 hours-ish. And, you know, if you listen to them sped up a little bit, it's even less. But just rapid fire information, and it's all very like, yeah, I can see that. So I liked both of these. The Power of Moments is more self-help to help others. So if you are an educator in any capacity, I highly recommend this book. I think that this has great potential to improve your teaching methods and to help you help children. This is a great book for that. Excellent. Also, obviously, if you're in the business world and you need to challenge your employers, or even if you want to, you know, you got your own business and you want to more effectively market yourself, this is a great book. So The Power of Moments is essentially, they've done the research and studied the research to find what moments are most impactful in our lives. So first impressions, peaks, and troughs, which are essentially the flip side of the same thing. And just, yeah, listen to the book. It's super short, but again, if you're an educator, this is one that you're going to want to have in your wheelhouse, and you won't regret the time spent with it. So yeah, so another not so humble brag, if you were doing the math just now, I read 7 books in 7 days-ish. So the first one was halfway there. So technically 6.5 books in 7 days. I finished 7 in 7 days, and the enough to 8th. So I am pretty pleased with myself. Yeah. So I'm going to get off here because less proud of the fact that it is 6 o'clock and all I've done today is eat twice, take a nap, and read, which I know y'all are proud of my reading, but I do need to maybe do 1 or 2 other things before the sun sets. So I must go. Thanks so much for watching, and enjoy the cats. Bye. I'll be back soon. Is that siding, Momo? Do you like the house finches? Oh my. She's cray cray.
Is there something up there?
I don't know. What are you doing, Chicky? Chicky, Chicky. Chicky, Chicky. Toe beans. Oh my goodness. Oh. That's nice. Is that exciting, Chicky? Oh, there's the daddy bird. Tweet, tweet. Can I take a nap with you guys? You have to move over, guy. You have to move just a little bit. That's better. Thanks, guy.